This is the Voice of Turkey's English language transmission broadcasting from Ankara in an 90 meter band between 1230 1330 UTC and 1545 kHz, and in the 49 meter band between 1830 1930 UTC and 5945 kHz to Europe. The Voice of Turkey is also beamed between 2030 2130 UTC in the 31 meter band on 9875 kHz to South Asia and Australia, and in the 25 meter band on 11660 kHz between 1630 730 UTC to Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. You can listen to us over the Turksat 3A and 4A satellites on the internet at www.trtdinler.com through news, radios, and then the Voice of Turkey. Our email address is englishdesk@trt.net.tr.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is Ali Ibrahim Sarıkaya from Voice of Turkey. Today, 11 of October 2023. You are listening to the news. The Palestinian death toll in Gaza has risen to 974 as the Israeli army struck hundreds of targets in the densely populated strips, residential and commercial neighborhoods, the health ministry said on Wednesday. The ministry's statement said the Israeli attacks also injured 5,000 people. The situation escalated in the Gaza Strip following a multi-pronged surprise attack on Israel by Palestinian group Hamas. It said the offensive was in response to the storming of Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in recent days and increased settler violence. Israel retaliated with airstrikes on Gaza and said it will cut off electricity, food, water, and other supplies to enclave, which is home to nearly 2.2 million people and has already been reeling under a crippling blockade since 2007. The Israel death toll has climbed to 1,200 people. Israeli airstrikes displace over 260,000 Palestinians in Gaza. Over 263,934 people in Gaza are believed to have fled their homes, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said in an update on Tuesday. Fears are mounting that the number of displaced Palestinians in Gaza will increase amid continuing Israeli attacks and Hamas rocket fire. The situation escalated in Gaza Strip following an attack by Palestinian group Hamas on Israeli towns near the seaside territory. Israel retaliated with massive airstrikes in Gaza and placed the enclave under total blockade. Some 2,100 people were killed in the violence, including at least 900 Palestinians and 1,200 Israelis. Israel has also cut water and electricity supply to Gaza, inevitably worsening the already dire humanitarian situation. Home to nearly 2.2 million people, the Gaza Strip has already been reeling under a crippling Israel siege since 2007. Meanwhile, the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees said late Tuesday that more than 175,000 people in Gaza have taken refuge in 88 of its schools. The UN agency said 88 of our schools in Gaza Strip have turned into shelters for more than 175,000 people. The agency said the numbers are increasing due to continued Israel airstrikes. At least 8 journalists killed in Israel attacks on Gaza. At least 8 journalists were killed and 2 others went missing in Israel airstrikes on Gaza, which started after Hamas' surprise offensive in Israel on Saturday, the Palestinian Enclave's press office said on Wednesday. The office, in a statement, said the slain journalists were Said Al-Tawil, Mohammed Soub, Hisham An-Nawashia, Ibrahim Lafi, Mohammed Jargun, Mohammed Es-Salili, Esad Shelma, and Salama Mime. Another two journalists, Nida Al-Wahidi and Haysam Abdul Wahid, were unaccounted for. Meanwhile, the houses of three journalists were completely destroyed, and at least 40 media outlets were said to be target of airstrikes. The situation escalated in Gaza Strip following a multi-front attack by Palestinian group Hamas. Israel retaliated with airstrikes and placed the enclave under total blockade. 6.3 magnitude earthquake rattles western Afghanistan. A 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck Afghanistan western province of Herat early Wednesday, according to U.S. Geological Survey. The earthquake, which occurred at 5:41 a.m. local time, came days after a similar earthquake hit the region. No casualties have been reported so far by Afghan authorities. On Tuesday, Afghanistan's Disaster Management Ministry said the number of dead and injured from last week's earthquake has exceeded 4,500. According to UN, at least 11,585 people have been affected by last Saturday's powerful 6.3 magnitude earthquake that struck Herat province, and they are providing medical services, emergency shelter, food, water, and protection. Germany arrests 5 right-wing extremists over terror plot. German police carried out raids Tuesday to arrest right-wing extremists for conspiring to kidnap the health minister and planning major terror attacks. 5 extremists with ties to far-right range Boscher movement were arrested during raids in 6 federal states, officials said. A suspect 41, who was arrested in the southeastern city of Wolfratshausen, took part in plans 2 years ago to kidnap Health Minister Karl Lauterbach for imposing strict coronavirus measures, according to prosecutors. The right-wing extremists had planned to travel to Croatia and purchase a gun to be used in the plot to kidnap Lauterbach, prosecutors told public broadcaster Bayerische Rundfunk. The other 4 suspects were reportedly supported or actively involved in plans to carry out terror attacks, to sow chaos nationwide and overthrow the democratic system in Germany. Followers of the Rationberger movement rejected the legitimacy of Germany and claimed the country is governed by members of so-called deep state. Many refuse to pay taxes and are often in conflict with authorities. Germany's domestic intelligence agency, BFV, estimates that group has 23,000 followers. Asylum seekers to return the UK's BB Stockholm barge. Migrants who had been removed by the UK from the BB Stockholm barge in August after discovery of Legionella bacteria will be returned to vessel next week, media reports said Tuesday. Asylum seekers are being notified by the UK Home Office that they will move back to migrant barge moored at Portland Port in Dorset in the country's southwest, the BBC reported. In a letter seen by BBC, the asylum seekers were told, "You will be required to move to alternative accommodation and specifically the BB Stockholm barge, and that this accommodation is offered on a no-choice basis." The Home Office letter says the migrants will be returned to barge on October 19th, the report added. 39 men were moved onto vessel in August, but were later removed from the barge after Legionella bacteria was found in the onboard water system. The report of bacteria came 3 days after Home Office said the first group of asylum seekers was housed on the barge after health and safety checks were completed. The BB Stockholm is one of the vessels that was announced by the government to accommodate 5,000 asylum seekers in a bid to lower the cost of hotels. The controversial plan aims to house up 500 men aged 18 to 65 on the floating barge who are waiting for the results of their asylum applications. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak listed tackling small boat crossing as one of his 5 priorities after over 45,000 migrants arrived in the country by crossing the English Channel last year. And that was the news, brought to you by the Voice of Turkey. Goodbye, dear listeners.